I was just reading God's words, some of God's newest words, and I had a realization, and God basically revealed to me and to all of His followers, everybody who picks up His words and read them, who read that specific passage. Um, God has revealed to us, right, that devils are cunning and don't take responsibility for their actions and want to paint a picture of themselves for others. And that picture is essentially that they are flawless and without corrupt disposition. And, so it made me reflect on myself, because I thought, well, I'm a devil and, I tend to, you see, I'm like itching all over. It's like my spirit is getting uncomfortable talking about this, but got to talk about it because I got to practice honesty. um, so like, yeah, I mean, I guess like I do try to like make people think that I'm free of corruption, right? And it's not that God hasn't done work on me. It's not that God hasn't changed my disposition. It's not that, you know, but like there was an unbeliever. And I've neglected to tell you guys this because apparently I am cunning, right? And even me telling you this could be a result of my cunning, trying to mislead you into believing that I'm not a devil. So I just want to make it very clear I am a devil. It is what it is. But I believe in God and I love God. But I have to be honest, um, because, honesty is the foundation of practice, of the truth. So anyways, there was this unbeliever who revealed to me that I'm greedy and I couldn't deny it. I am greedy because, and I'm not greedy about money. I'm very generous when it comes to money, but I'm greedy when it comes to women because when I look at adult content, and this is what he revealed to me, this unbeliever. So I think God was working through this unbeliever to reveal this to me. And this is an element of my disposition that hasn't changed, that's still corrupt. So I still have some corruption. And this element of my corrupt disposition is greediness, and it's in regards to women, because when I look at adult content, I don't look at the same woman every time. So the fact that I look at a different woman almost every single time I look at adult content, rarely do I look at the same woman like, more than twice, right? Or more than once, really, a lot of times. I mean, sometimes I'll look at the same woman again and again, actually, I admit. But for the most part, I don't really look at the same woman, very often. I typically look at different women each time I look at adult content. And that reveals a greedy nature. Because if I am to respect the principle of marriage, if I am to respect marriage out of principle and uphold marriage in principle, then I should commit myself to one woman, and when I look at adult content, I should just look at one woman, one naked woman, whatever. And definitely shouldn't be looking at a naked woman sleeping with men or whatever. I mean, it's really tricky because I'd have to find like a single woman that doesn't sleep around and only shows her body naked, and it's really tricky trying. I mean, and I'm not trying to justify my actions. I'm not trying to provide reasons. I guess I am actually, but I'm backpedaling. I'm trying to, reverse course. I'm trying to correct what I'm doing wrong right now. This is tough for me because I'm trying to admit my wrongdoings is what I'm trying to do. But the more I talk, the more I try to justify it, and then there's no justifying it. I have a greedy nature now at this point, and I guess I always have. It's just that, I've had multiple natures. I've had, a nature that worships women, a deceptive nature, and a greedy nature. I've had three natures. The nature that worships women, that's resolved. God solved that. So that's been cleansed and purified, right? My deceptive nature, God cleansed and purified that. My greedy nature, God has not cleansed and purified that. I still have a greedy nature. I still look at multiple women online. Talk to multiple women online. I mean, I'm disgusting when it comes to that. So I'm just trying to rebel against my demonic essence, because God was like, a devil will never admit that they have corruption. And it's like, well, I'm going to do it then, because I want to obey God's words, and I want to rebel against my demonic essence. I want to be the exception. I want to, admit to my corruption, and this is something that has stayed hidden. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, this is the first you've heard of this, my greedy nature. This is the first you guys have heard of it. And I might have dropped hints here and there, but I've never came out right and said it, So this is a first for me. This is a first for my channel, my page, whatever platform you're watching this on. It goes by different names depending on what platform it is you're watching this on. But yeah, so I just wanted to confess that. Purely for the sake of rebellion against my demonic essence. I want to rebel against my demonic spirit and have human likeness, be a human. I want to be a human so bad. and I want to be cleansed by God so bad. I want to be saved by God so bad. I want God's will to be done in my life so bad. I just really, really want good and positive things, and I just want to be a good person, and there's some people who are demonic that really lean into their demonic spirit, and they kind of like, they take on this edgy persona and try to be bad boys or bad girls or whatever. And I think that's so corny and cheesy, and it's just like, I don't understand why people do that. And I know I kind of leaned into it a little bit with some of the music I've made, like, talking, like singing in a voice like this or rapping in a voice like this, and like, I know I've done that. And I know that's kind of corny and cheesy, but I just thought it would reach some alternative Christians, Christians who like that style. And I think it turned out, pretty good. I mean, some of my favorite songs, I mean, they're corny and cheesy, but I kind of love them, They make me cringe, but at the same time, they're just kind of catchy, and, they sound kind of good. Even though they're kind of cringy too, they still kind of sound good. I don't know. It's weird. It's a duality. They definitely contradict themselves, because it's like, I mean, you'll laugh at it and bob your head at the same time, because, it's just, I don't know. But, anyways, yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks so much for watching. May God's will be done in all of your lives. God bless and goodbye.